I want to cry right now. I'm TAZZY and welcome back to my channel. If you do not know me, I am a weeb extraordinaire. If you're interested in anime and the type of content that you're about to see, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have more voices in the comments. I just want to talk to people. That's why I'm here on the internet, is to make anime friends. So let's get going. Today I am here to give you my top 10 saddest moments in Naruto Shippuden. I've learned about myself that I actually usually judge an anime on how much it makes me cry. If it only makes me cry one time, it's not a very good anime. But if I have to constantly be stopping shows because I can't breathe, that's a good anime, in my opinion. So obviously, Naruto does that. I don't think there is one psychopath that I have met that watches Naruto and doesn't want to cry. I decided to rate each one of these moments by 3 factors, each having a score of 1 out of 10 for a possible 30 perfect points. None of these moments actually got a perfect 30, but we'll talk about that later. The first parameter that I'm judging these moments on is predictability. So how predictable was the event given the storyline heading towards the event? If it was super duper predictable, it gets a 1. If it was a complete surprise, it gets a 10. The second parameter is the significance. So the overarching story and how this event plays into that story. How much does it impact the main characters? How much does it impact the storyline as a whole? If it doesn't impact anything, if it's just sad just because, it gets a 1. If it's so sad and detrimental that it explains why a character has been the way they are for their entire lives and changes the way that the world works for the foreseeable future, it gets a 10! And finally, the simplest yet most important parameter is the waterworks. If I didn't cry a single tear, it gets a 1. If I was crying so hard I had to stop the television because I couldn't breathe, it gets a 10. So let's get it going. Number 10, Obitos Death. The first one that we see and the first one in his life, which is the story of how he protects Rin and Kakashi and ends up dying because of it, or presumably dying because of it. For predictability, this got a 2 because before in the story, we already knew that Obito was dead. We already knew that Kakashi had his eye, or at least you had a very good idea of that happening and that being the reason why Kakashi had a Sharingan. For significance, this gets an 8. Obito and how he died completely changed Kakashi, his view on life, and how he ended up training Team 7. So essentially, he changed the course of the world. Obito dying in front of Kakashi the way that he did changed the course of the ninja world because of its effect on Kakashi. So it gets an 8. And then finally, waterworks. Unfortunately, this I scored at only a 5 because there might have been a stray tear or 2, a little bit of sniffling action, but I was not bawling my eyes out at this. I wasn't super sad. Again, probably because it was predictable. We knew he was going to die, and we knew that Kakashi was going to be sad about it because all throughout the show, he's constantly mourning his friends. Number 9, Zabuza and Haku dying next to each other. This one affected me a lot more, and this one got a score of 16. For predictability, I gave this a score of 4, and that is because though we didn't know that they were going to die and necessarily die while Zabuza was admitting how much he loved Haku, that was a little bit of a surprise, but we kind of knew that they were going to be defeated. We knew the direction based off of the lead up and the fights that were going on before this event. For significance to the story, I put this at a 6, and that is because though they did not really change the overall course of history, I don't think, they did affect Naruto and Sasuke as their first experience in a true life or death scenario. This was Naruto and Sasuke's true first experience fighting other ninjas. It was the first time Sasuke really got checked by somebody else that was his own age. Haku really threw him for a loop, and it was also the first time that Naruto learned about himself, how far he was really willing to go to protect his friends. And I think both of those things are super duper important, but then again, they were both young and other things happened that I think were more important to those two characters, which is why I gave this a 6. And then finally, Waterworks, I also gave this a 6 because I did cry, especially when Zabuza was telling Haku, well, explaining how much he loved Haku. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I did cry, but there were other moments that definitely made me cry harder. Also, in another life, Zabuza and Kakashi would have been BFFs, and I'm mad about it. I want them to be friends. They deserve it. Number 8, with a total of 17, it is Garas Sad Backstory. I just want to put a little disclaimer on this one. I am biased because Gaara is one of my favorite characters, and just traumatic childhoods make me sad. It's weird. Why would that make you sad? I don't know. For predictability, I also scored this at a 4. And that is because we knew that Gaara was going to have some sort of tragic past to explain why he was on a murderous rampage. But I didn't know that it was going to be as sad as it was. So I gave it a 4. For significance to the story, I gave this a 6. And that is just because of the impact that Gaara had on Naruto. Gaara and Naruto's friendship has come from a place very profound and deep. They can connect to one another because of their shared past of disrespect and ignorance and trauma. For Waterworks, I gave this a score of 7 because, oh, did I cry when his uncle killed him and then said, "I love you, but you killed my sister." I could cry about it right now. So sad. And it was the one person that Gaara trusted in his life and the one person that he looked up to and loved. I'm sad. Why did I do this? Number 7, we are gonna talk about Nedjis Death here. Predictability on Nedjis Death was at an 8 for me because I did not see this coming, nor did anyone else. But it wasn't as shocking as some of the other things. They were in a war. Things happen, and he jumped in front of Hinata to save her and died because of it. Significance to the story, I gave this a 7. So Neji had a very difficult relationship with Hinata throughout his life. He knew that he was supposed to be protecting her, but he couldn't help but hate her because of the situation between their two families and their clan as a whole. Throughout Shippuden, they're able to develop a really strong bond, and that makes me want to cry right now, just them becoming better friends. Him throwing himself in the line of fire for her was really just the cherry on top of the cake for their relationship as a whole. And just the amalgamation of his growth as a character, but also a real tragedy for Hinata, which is one of my personal favorite characters in this anime. For Waterworks, I only scored this at a 3. And that's because in the kerfluffle of the war and everything that was going on, I didn't really cry that much. And not that I wasn't sad, I was incredibly sad and heartbroken, but I think that this was one of the magical points in this show that I was actually grief-stricken about a character. And me personally, if I am too sad, I don't actually cry. If I am grief-stricken, I usually am very stoic and calm and sometimes numb. So that's what I got with this, but the criteria that I pulled out was Waterworks, and there were none. So shit, Naruto, you made me actually grieve about a character instead of making me cry like you wanted to. Sorry. Number 6, with a total score of 19, is Jiraiyas Death. This one was interesting. So, predictability, I actually scored this as a 1, because if you, like me, watched the anime, and always watched the anime openings because those songs are bangers, the anime opening gave away that he was gonna die. So I knew he was gonna die. That anime opening makes me cry a lot. Still does. I could pull it up just on YouTube right now, just the anime opening, and cry my eyes out. So they goofed. They done goofed themselves on that opening. The AMV shows him dying. It's too predictable. You showed it to me. Significance, this one got a big fat 10. Not only was it extremely significant to one of the main antagonists of this show, that being Pain, it was also extremely life-changing for the main hero of the anime, being Naruto. For Pain, this represented how much he truly believed in his dream, how far he was willing to go to make the perfect world where no one could hurt each other. He was able to kill someone that he admired so deeply because he believed so strongly in his views and his dreams and his role as a god. For Naruto, this was a loss of yet another father figure in his life. For the third time in his life, really, because he lost his own father, though he doesn't remember losing his father Minato, and he doesn't meet him till later on. He also lost Hiruzen, Lord 3rd Hokage, who was another father figure in his life. But of course, the most important figure in his life was Jiraiya. I had known him since a very, very young age, grew up with him, had an extreme admiration for him, and a deep, deep friendship with him as well. Jiraiya is really the reason that Naruto became so strong. I'm crying. Oh god! And then when Iruka-sensei goes to comfort Naruto, I absolutely lose it. So for Waterworks, this scored an 8. And hold on before you yell at me in the comments, because I'm talking right now and I'm crying about it. But let me tell you, there are other points in this anime where I cried a lot harder. It's so good! Jiraiyas Death in that moment is really sad, and I do cry, but if that was the only moment we were judging, I would have given it a 6. But it really is the moment where Iruka comforts Naruto that I really, really lose it. And I can't keep it together. But I didn't have to stop the show, and I was able to maintain my breath. So, it only gets an 8. Number 5, Minato and Kushina meeting Naruto in his mind. For predictability, I scored this at a 7. I didn't know that Naruto was ever going to meet his parents, but it wasn't the most shocking thing. It kind of made sense. Naruto isn't the type of show to leave characters underdeveloped, so we were going to learn a lot more about Minato, whether or not it was in flashbacks or Naruto getting the chance to meet him and Kushina. For significance, I gave this a 7. This moment in time was really able to round out Naruto as a character and give him a lot of closure. Also, it gave us a lot of insight to the type of people that his parents were. I also scored Waterworks at a 7 for this one. It was 777 across the board, giving it a score of 21. Quite a fair amount, especially when Naruto and Kushina are talking, and she's talking about the type of man that he's become, and I am crying right now. Number 4, with a total of 24 points, we have Kakashi killing Rin. This was a game changer for me within the anime. We have our first and only perfect score of 10 for predictability. Of course, we all knew that Rin was dead. We all knew that Kakashi felt bad about it. But I didn't know he killed her himself! And Obito had to watch? Significance, I scored this as another 10, dude. This event set Obito on the path to starting the next great ninja war. That's a pretty significant event, my dude. That's a 10. Unfortunately, this scored low on the list because it didn't make me cry as much as it should have. This only scored a 4 for me. And it really only scored a 4 because of Obito's reaction to it. Very sad. I didn't have to deal with that. But I think I was so incredibly shocked by the pacing of this event that I didn't have time to cry. It happened so fast. It was extremely well done, but I didn't have a ton of time to cry about it. Number 3, dude. With a score of 26 points, we have Itachi's deaths, plural. Most notably his first death for me, because that one I have a lot more thoughts in my mind about, and that's just because it's during my favorite part of Naruto, which is the sequence from Jiraiya's death leading up to the destruction of the leaf. So it goes Jiraiya's death, Sasuke and Itachi fighting, pain hitting the leaf, and that's my favorite part of Naruto. So I've seen it a lot, and I have the most memories about it. Itachi fighting Kabuto and dying again was extremely sad, I'll admit. But less memories with that one, more memories with him fighting Sasuke. Predictability, I gave this a 9, and y'all know why. It's because it was revealed to us through this event why Itachi had done what he did. And the fact that he still loved his brother. That's sad. And completely out of left field. We all thought he was just a psycho. We all thought Itachi was just some crazy dude out here killing his family. Nope. Significance, I gave this a 9. He is an extremely important character to the storyline. And this is the event that changes him very deeply. This event changes his sole purpose in life from being to hunt down and kill his brother to avenge his family, and changes it to essentially making him one of the most prolific haters of the Leaf Village. If this event had been different, if Itachi had really just been a psycho that killed his whole family, then Sasuke would have killed him and come back to the Leaf and hopefully restarted his life. But because his brother really did love him and did these things to protect him, instead of feeling a sense of completion, a sense of success, he then feels a sense of emptiness and loneliness and a sense of hatred for who he thinks is responsible for it, which is the Leaf Village. Obviously, Sasuke hating the Leaf Village is extremely important to the story and extremely important to Naruto as well, which is why this scored a 9 in significance. For Waterworks, this gave me an 8. When Itachi is wobbling back and forth and then he taps his brother on the head. How can you not be crying? Are you crying? Then Obito goes through the whole situation, explaining what happened, and Sasuke realizing all of these things. It is incredibly sad, and I did shed a good tear. Again, there were some events that made me cry harder, and let's get to those. Number 2, in our silver medal spot, we have Asuma's death and Shikamaru's grief. If this whole arc didn't make you cry, you're heartless, and I hate you. For predictability, this gets a 9 from me. They did build it up well. Asuma's about to have a baby, and I didn't expect him to die, especially not so fast, and I didn't expect him make Shikamaru react the way that he did to his death either. This was very unpredictable for me. It did happen pretty fast. Their fight was a couple of episodes long, but it was still pretty fast. For significance, I gave this an 8 because it was a life changer for one of the main characters, in my opinion, one of the lesser main characters of the show, that being Shikamaru. Shikamaru is one of the most complex characters of this anime, and I think he deserves a lot of love, which is good because he's one of the most popular characters from this anime as well. And then for Waterworks, this one gets a big fat 10. Not necessarily at Asuma's point of death, though I did cry because poor Choji couldn't stop crying. So I am a sympathetic crier, and if you're crying, I promise I'm gonna cry too, so don't do it. Real killer for me is that famous scene where Shikamaru's dad is like, let it out, boy, and Shikamaru just absolutely loses control in his bedroom. When he cries, I cry. Only I cry harder. Big fat 10. I couldn't breathe. Had to pause the show. I rewatch it all the time. That's probably my second favorite arc. I like to cry a lot. What is wrong with me? But yeah, that's probably my second favorite arc in this entire series. But that's also because 2 of my favorite Akatsuki members are featured in this arc. Those Akatsuki members being Hidan and Kazoku, which Kazoku is the best. I think he's probably my favorite Akatsuki, which I know is a little weird because he's not a fan favorite, but I think he's my favorite Akatsuki, so the more you know. Maybe the next Naruto video I make should be a ranking of the Akatsuki. I know that's pretty popular, so I think I'm gonna do that next. Let me know what you think down below if you're here, if anyone's here. Number 1, gold medal, top of the heap, is Hinatas Confession and then death. This situation happens during an already emotional time with a lot of people already being dead and the Leaf Village in ruin because of pain. And we're already set on a downward slope because Naruto has been bound and he's about to be killed, really, by pain. So I'm already ready to cry at this point. And then Hinata jumps in. So for predictability, this scored an 8. This scored an 8 because it wasn't the most predictable thing to ever happen, for sure. But it wasn't without prediction. She's not the type of person to do this, and that's why I scored this so high. She's really not the type of person to be so brave, but a lot of the stories surrounding her had been surrounding how she had changed, and the episodes leading up to her jumping in that did show her saying, oh, Naruto is out there all alone, we should go out there and help him fight. So that's why I couldn't score this out of 10, because I couldn't be super duper shocked. She literally said, why isn't anyone helping him? So then she did. I was shocked that it was her, but I wasn't shocked that someone jumped in. For significance, I gave this an absolute 10. This showed how jaded Pain was, which is a lesser reason for this significance, but it showed what he was capable of and the cruelty that he was capable of showing to meet his own ends. And it showed how much Hinata had grown as a person. So incredibly brave beyond anything that we could have seen from her. Obviously there was growth there, and I think she was always a brave person, but this was just so bold for her, and she's not a super bold woman. Also showed Naruto being checked. He got checked right after he did a big power-up. He got absolutely checked by Pain here, and he was completely helpless to save one of his friends, which is the whole reason why he was gaining power in the first place. The only thing he wanted was to be able to protect the people that he loves, and there he was, stuck to the ground like Jesus. Yeah, so significance is a 10. I think this is extremely significant, and I think that this event particularly explains why Naruto excelled so fast even after he gained his Sage mode. He never wanted to experience anything like that again. He never wanted to feel helpless like that again. So he didn't. He became one of the most powerful people on the planet. And good for him, because that was traumatic, and I would try to garner some strength after that as well. For Waterworks, again, I gave this a mother effing 10! I cried a lot. I couldn't breathe. I actually, the first time I watched this episode, I had to watch it, I think 3 times, because I couldn't see everything that was going on. My eyes were blurred by tears. I couldn't breathe out of my mouth. It wasn't working. I wasn't functioning as a person. I couldn't, keep focus on anything. I had to watch it 3 times. So yeah, in my opinion, the most saddest and possibly my favorite moment of Naruto as a whole is Hinata's love confession. Oh, she's telling him how much braver she is because of him, how much better of a person she is because of him, and how she was going to protect him. Oh, I'm crying. She loves him so much. And oh no, the only thing that makes me hate this so much is that after Naruto totally forgets that she confessed her love to him. I mean, maybe he doesn't forget, but he can't worry about it because he's busy with other things, obviously. His life is so stressful, but she confesses his love for him and then literally dies for him, and then they don't talk much after that. And that really made me sad, because she deserves a lot. I know they get married, and I know that they love each other now, but they should have loved each other then, too. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked this video, please like this video, because how am I supposed to know if you liked it unless you tell me you liked it? If you are looking for more anime, manga, and even otaku fashion content, those are the things that I do here on this channel, so why don't you stick around, click on another couple videos, get to know me a little better, and think about subscribing. I hope you have a beautiful day. See ya!